Wow, what's up, guys? Today we are going to be watching scary shows. Yeah, okay, let's start. Well, let me make sure I'm live. Yeah, I'm live. Okay, so I'm live. Let's watch. So this is my favorite thing to watch. Like, but there you go. This is my favorite thing to watch.
My downstairs neighbor keeps complaining about stomping from my apartment. I've been away for a month. I've lived in apartment 6B at Ridgewood Commons for almost 3 years now. It's nothing special. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, a kitchen that barely fits a table, but it's mine, and for the most part, it's been quiet. My downstairs neighbor is a retired postal worker named Gerald. Nice guy. We've never had problems. He minds his business. I mind mine. That's why his texts started to worry me. I left for a work assignment in Denver on January 4th. The company put me up in a hotel for the month while I trained new hires at the regional office. I wasn't due back until February 6th. The first text came on January 9th. Gerald wrote that he'd heard heavy footsteps from my unit around 2 in the morning. He asked if I had someone staying over. I told him no one was there. The apartment was empty. He said okay and left it alone. 4 days later, he texted again. This time he was annoyed. He said the stomping had gotten worse. It sounded like someone was pacing back and forth across the living room for hours. He asked me to tell whoever was up there to knock it off. I called my landlord the next morning. She sent maintenance to check on the unit. They found nothing. Doors locked, windows latched, no signs of forced entry, no signs of anyone being inside. But Gerald kept texting. January 18th. He said the footsteps were happening every night now, always starting at 2 a.m., always stopping at exactly 4:15 a.m. He said it sounded like someone was dragging something heavy across the floor. January 22nd. He stopped asking me to fix it. He just sent a voice memo. I played it back in my hotel room. For the first 30 seconds, it was just silence. Then I heard it. A slow, rhythmic thud, like boots on hardwood. Then a pause. Then the sound of something wet being dragged. I called the police that night. They did a welfare check. The officer told me the apartment was secure. No signs of disturbance. Nothing out of place. He said Gerald might be hearing pipes or the heating system, but I knew what my heating system sounded like. That wasn't it. On January 29th, Gerald stopped texting. I tried calling him twice. No answer. I figured maybe he'd gotten tired of complaining, or maybe he'd himself it was just building noise. I flew home on February 6th. When I pulled into the parking lot, I noticed Gerald's car was still in his spot. His curtains were drawn. I grabbed my bags and headed up to my unit. The hallway smelled weird, like copper and old milk. I unlocked my door and stepped inside. Everything looked exactly how I left it. Same dishes in the sink, same blanket on the couch, same pair of shoes by the door. My online friend just revealed his true identity to me. I wish I never met him. I met Kevin on a gaming forum 4 years ago. We were both 15, both obsessed with the same obscure survival horror games. And
I've
both
watched
parents
this
didn't
one.
understand us. At
It's
least
kind of scary.
talked every single day. Morning texts before school and Discord calls that lasted until 2 a.m. He knew things about me that my real friends didn't. My fear of abandonment, the panic attacks I hid from everyone, the fact that my dad left when I was 9 and never looked back. Kevin was always there and always saying exactly what I needed to hear. Last month he finally asked if we could meet. He said he was visiting my state for a family trip and wanted to grab food somewhere. I was nervous but excited because 4 years of friendship and I'd finally see him face to face. We agreed on a diner called Rosie's off Route 12, Saturday at noon. I got there early and sat in a booth by the window. Every time the door opened, my heart jumped. An old couple, a mom with 2 kids, a delivery driver. Then a man walked in. He was maybe 45 with a receding hairline and a wedding ring. He scanned the room and when his eyes landed on me,
Huh, a receiving airline.
he slid into the booth across from me before I could move. Nate, you look exactly like your pictures. My stomach dropped because I never sent Kevin pictures of myself. Not once. Kevin, I asked, even though I already knew. You can keep calling me that if you want. He grabbed my wrist before I could stand. I've been waiting 4 years for this. I know everything about you now. Your school, your mom's work schedule.
Oh
the path you take when
no.
you walk home.
Guys, this is why you don't talk to strangers.
I created Kevin because my new apartment came with a list of horrifying rules. One of them said, my grandma called me from her old house, but it burned down with her inside in 1998.
Oh
Voicemail
God.
came in at 11:22 p.m. last Tuesday. Grandma's landline, the one that burned with her house in 1998. I let it go to voicemail because dead people don't call. But when I my blood went cold. It was her voice, that thick Kentucky accent I used to imitate as a kid. Tommy, baby, don't let him read it. I'm still inside. Baby, I'm still burning. I played it 6 more times, and each time I heard crackling in the background and screaming. Not just her, multiple people. I called my mom at midnight. She called back at 7 a.m., sounding confused, and said that number hadn't existed since the fire, that the phone company had retired it permanently. I didn't tell her about the voicemail. That morning, I drove out to where her house used to be, about 40 minutes outside Louisville. The lot had been empty for over 2 decades. Nobody wanted to build on the land where 3 people had burned alive. Grandma, her sister Carol, and Carol's husband Jim.
My apartment building has a hidden staircase that no one else can see. I finally went down, and what I found was horrifying. I've lived in the same apartment for 3 years. I know
My grandma had a really unusual name, Livia.
My father handed the company to my golden boy brother at his 60th birthday. So I quit overnight and built a rival empire. That crushed them. I sat at the back of the ballroom, watching my father raise a crystal glass. It was his 60th birthday gala. 300 guests leaned in as he placed a hand on my younger brother's shoulder. Leo is the future of Sterling Global, my father announced, his voice booming with pride. He has the vision. He has the fire. Starting tomorrow, he is CEO. The room erupted in applause. I sat there frozen. I was the one who had pulled the company out of the 2022 recession. I was the one who spent 80 hours a week in the trenches, while Leo was finding himself on a yacht in Ibiza. I looked at my father. He wouldn't even meet my eyes. When the crowd dispersed, I cornered him in the lounge. I've been COO for 5 years, Dad. I doubled our margins. You promised me that seat. He took a slow sip of his scotch. You're a workhorse, Elias. Elias. A great soldier, but Leo has charisma. He's a leader. Don't be bitter. It's a bad look. Leo walked over, grinning, smelling like expensive cologne and unearned ego. Don't worry, big brother, he smirked, patting my arm. I'll keep a spot for you in the basement. I might need someone to fix the spreadsheets. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I just felt a cold, sharp click in my chest. You're right, I said quietly. Good luck, Leo. I went straight to my office. I didn't pack personal photos. I didn't leave a note. I sent one BCC'd email to the 3 biggest clients who only signed with us because they trusted me. Then I deleted my access codes, wiped my personal server, and walked out. I quit at 11:30 p.m. By 8 a.m. the next morning, I had registered a new entity, Zenith Partners. The first 6 months were hell. I lived on black coffee and spite. I didn't steal Sterling's trade secrets. I didn't need to. I just knew their weaknesses because I was the one who had been hiding them for years. Leo was a disaster. He started rebranding. He fired the veteran logistics team to hire his frat brothers. He spent $5 million on a culture retreat. While their main shipping contract was expiring, I was waiting in the shadows. I swooped in and signed that shipping contract under Zenith. Then I took their head of R&D. Then their top 3 sales leads. They didn't see me coming because they thought I was home sulking. 14 months later, Sterling Global stock was in a free fall. They were hemorrhaging cash and their biggest creditors were circling like sharks. My phone rang. It was my father. I let it go to voicemail. He called 12 times in 1 hour. Finally, I picked up. Elias. His voice was shaking. Gone was the titan of industry. He sounded like an old man. We need to talk, Leo. He made some mistakes. The board is panicking. We need you to come back and stabilize things. I leaned back in my leather chair, looking out at the city skyline from my new office. I'm busy, Dad. Elias, please. We're facing bankruptcy. I'll make you co-CEO. We can fix this as a family. I'm not a soldier anymore, Dad, I said, my voice like ice. And I don't work for Leo. I hung up. 2 weeks later, the news broke. Sterling Global was being acquired in a hostile takeover to avoid total liquidation. The buyer was an anonymous holding company. The closing meeting was held in Sterling's old boardroom. My father and Leo were sitting on one side, looking haggard. Leo looked like he'd been crying. The doors opened. I walked in alone. The silence was deafening. My father stood up, his face turning a ghostly shade of gray. Elias, what are you doing here? I sat down at the head of the table, the seat he had given to Leo. I'm the majority shareholder of the holding company, I said, sliding the paperwork across the table. I just bought Sterling Global for 20 cents on the dollar. Leo turned red. You snake! You planned this. You're supposed to be family. I looked at him, then at my father. Family is a business of loyalty. You broke the contract first. I turned to my assistant. Clear out Leo's office by noon. Change the locks on the building. And tell my father his retirement package has been revoked for gross negligence. My father looked at me, his eyes pleading. Elias, I'm your father. You can't do this to me. I stood up and straightened my suit jacket. You told me I was a great soldier, Dad. You were right. I walked toward the door, stopping just as I left. But you forgot one
Yeah, I'm
thing.
still
A
young.
soldier
If
eventually
you
learns
want
how
to.
to win a war. I walked out without looking back. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel sad. I felt nothing.
I love watching horror and yeah. Guys, I'm gonna get a new I'm gonna get a new I'm gonna buy a new camera soon. So yeah, get ready for hand cams.
My father handed the company to my golden boy brother.
What the what? Oh no.
What do you do when another parent calls your daughter a thug? My 11-year-old daughter Tempest broke a boy's nose.
If I have to write even a single line of code, I'm scrapped.
Oh yeah, guys, this is my cousin's videos. I mean, I was in it, but yeah, it's kind of cringe. Okay, yeah, we're not gonna do that though.
Hi guys, how you doing? What's up guys? I'm part of the group, right? Yay! Let's go! And guys, this is how I play basketball.
Okay, that one's so cringe. I'm not even gonna lie.
My mom tried to send me to military school because I wouldn't let my sister steal from me. A few months later, her plan turned into the receipt my dad used to end the marriage. I was 14. My little sister blew through her allowance on makeup and mall junk, then cried broke. I earned my money the hard way chores, yard work, mowing lawns, because my dad actually made me work for it. I kept cash hidden and tracked every dollar, saving for a scooter and eventually a car. I had almost $2,000, and that number mattered to me. My sister also knew every hiding spot. I'd check my stash and the math would be wrong. I'd confront her and she'd do the same script. Did you take my money again? What? No. Then the fake tears. Then she'd sprint to mom. My mom would snap her fingers at me. Stop it. My baby said that she didn't. One day, a clean $100 vanished. I showed my mom my ledger, and she got angry at the evidence. "You're grounded," she said. "Drop it or I'll get the belt." So I stopped talking and called my dad at work. An hour later, I heard my mom shrieking into the house phone downstairs. She stomped to my door and swung it open like she owned my lungs. "I can't believe you ratted us out." I said, "So you admit she took it." She sneered, "Girls need more money than boys. You should be giving it to her." When my dad got home, he marched my sister into my room and made her confess. He made her apologize loud enough that it hurt her pride. Then he handed me a $100 bill and told her it would come out of her allowance. My mom sat outside with wine like none of it happened. After that, my dad bought me a small combination safe. We didn't tell them. I locked my cash away and shoved the safe deep in my closet. A couple weeks later, I came home and my room was ransacked. Drawers dumped, clothes thrown, nothing missing, just a message. My mom looked me dead in the face and said, "Your sister didn't do that," like there were strangers breaking into a suburban house for fun. The next day it happened again, and my bedroom window was shattered. My sister had thrown the safe through the glass because she couldn't open it, and she admitted it proudly. My mom still tried. "You shouldn't even have a safe." My dad replaced the window, grounded my sister hard, and installed a deadbolt on my door. He mounted a coated lockbox outside my room, so only I could grab the key. My sister stared at that lock like it was a personal insult. Then she tried a new angle, begging. One night she wanted $40 for a video game. I told her I'd loan it if she signed an IOU in front of Dad. She ripped the paper in half and ran to Mom, crying like I'd committed a felony. My mom stormed up the stairs, ready to do her usual door fling and scream routine. This is the part I remember in slow motion. I stepped into my room, hands shaking. Then I turned the deadbolt all the way. Then I heard her charge the hallway. Then the knob rattled like it hated me. Then thud, her shoulder hit the door. The solid wood didn't move at all. She hit it face first and dropped. I opened the door and she was on the floor with a swelling lip and a fresh bump on her forehead, wailing, "You did this to me." I said, "Calm. No, you did it to yourself." I called my dad and he basically sighed into the phone like he was tired down to the bone. I still got extra chores for pushing her, but I wasn't grounded. My mom just lost another piece of control. A week later, I found a military school pamphlet near my mom's wine spot on the patio. My stomach sank. I showed my dad. He confronted her, and she finally said the quiet part out loud. "He locks his door. I can't even spank him anymore. He needs discipline." The next morning, I caught her stuffing papers into the trash. After she left, I pulled them out. It was an application for that military school, filled out in her handwriting. 2 signature lines, one was hers, the other was a pathetic forgery of my dad's. My dad didn't yell. He just filed it away. A few months later, her affair came out, and my dad filed for divorce. When my mom started demanding more money and threatening court, my dad pulled out the forged paperwork and other stuff she'd signed his name to. Suddenly, she was cooperative. Suddenly, she wanted it handled quietly. She kept the house. She kept my sister. My dad got me. On move-out day, my sister stuck out her tongue and said, "Mom says I'm the princess, so you're the one leaving." I didn't even argue. I walked out with my bag and felt lighter than I'd ever felt. My mom wanted to send me away. Instead, she taught my dad exactly how to get rid of her. My mom tried to send me to military school because I wouldn't let my sister...
Trying to build the most perfect, invincible family possible. Start me off right filter. I want a banger right here for Dad. I'm gonna take Omni-Man. Hear me out! I'm here for the Omni-Man character development. So we're gonna move past season 1 and go to like current. Like right now, we chilling with that. And duplicates my mom. Also, Loki trying to save Alan. Because if I can get Alan for anything else, I'll be chilling with that. Who's my sibling? See, I'm taking Alan for my sibling. I like that. Honestly, I'm alright with that. Who's my grandpa? I'ma hear me out. I gotta go with the boy Fred. I mean, Omni-Man's my dad. We got Alan, who's my brother. Drag is my grandpa. I'm OP, so I'm chilling with that. Monster Girl's my grandma. Sure. Down to the 3 most important categories. Who's my child? Honestly, give me Space Racer. You already know. Who I want for life. I'm invincible. I mean, I'm not invincible, but I will take that. Trying to build the most perfect, invincible family possible.
Did you notice this cup? No one realized that. Dracula's wife Martha might not be dead at all.
Yo guys, that's the end of stream. So yeah, I'm going to end right now because I'm gonna eat breakfast. So everyone have a good day. Be loved by God, read your Bibles, and yeah, end the video.